What is up, everybody? This is Steve Turbo with Turbo Talks Wrestling, and we are coming to you with an emergency broadcast. So, this past Wednesday or Thursday, while the WWE was touring, Seth Rollins sustained a serious injury to his ACL. He sustained a very serious knee injury, and is now going to be out for roughly 6 to 8 months. With that said, they are vacating the WWE title due to this injury. So this means some pretty big things, because what the WWE was building up was a huge feud and a huge road to Survivor Series between Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns. Now that has been completely derailed because of this injury. Now the WWE is going to do a tournament during Survivor Series, or I believe leading up to Survivor Series. They're doing this some way. They're doing a tournament to determine who the new WWE champion will be. Now the question is, who will that be? Who is the obvious choice, and who should get it at this point? But before we go into the predictions, before we go into my opinions, I want to lay down for you all the current state of the WWE and its superstars. As of right now, we have several superstars that could have been considered top contenders for this spot. You have to realize that the WWE champion is so much more than just the best in the company. They are the show opener, the show closer. They are the main draw. They are the person that is supposed to put the butts in the seats. They are the person that is they shoulder a lot of responsibility on the person whom they make the WWE champion. This championship is so much more now than it has ever been because of how big the WWE is. The champion shoulders a lot of responsibility. Now, the WWE is in a bit of a crisis because you have several wrestlers who were main eventers that are out right now for extended periods of time. We have Seth Rollins, of course, who is vacating the title with a knee injury. Then you have Randy Orton, who is out with a shoulder injury. You have John Cena, who is out for whatever reason. He's apparently not supposed to be back until next month, going into January, I believe is what I've heard. Brock Lesnar doesn't appear on television that much, and we have not seen him since the match at Hell in a Cell with The Undertaker. So there's that. You, of course, still have Daniel Bryan, who no one knows if he's ever going to return. You have Sami Zayn. Now, I'm not saying that Sami Zayn... To refer to Sami Zayn, you have to go all the way back to when his injury first happened. Sami, at that time, from what I understood, when he came out to take part in the US Open Challenge, that was supposed to be his debut in the WWE, the main roster. At this point, I believe that they were billing him to be the next top guy. That's my personal opinion. Just because Sami has a very likable personality, he is a very gifted wrestler in the ring, he has a great theme song, he's energetic, he's contagious. I truly believe that's what they were gearing up towards. And his US Open title match with John Cena was shades of when John Cena himself challenged Kurt Angle years and years ago, when Cena was rocking the Boston green trunks or whatever he came out in that night. the whole ruthless aggression deal. So I truly believe that Sammy would have been in line to be a top guy, or at least damn close. So you have a lot of you have a lot of guys. You have Rusev, who's out as well, who this would have been a great time for him to become champion, at least in my opinion. You have Rusev, who's out with an injury. You have a lot of people right now who are out with pretty severe injuries that are not coming back anytime soon. So, you are now left with a handful of wrestlers that can take on that daunting task of being the WWE champion. So, I'm going to just rattle off some names of who is most likely going to be in this tournament. Roman Reigns is an obvious one. I'm not a Roman fan, you guys know this. But he is the most obvious choice for this tournament. Then you have Dean Ambrose, who is another obvious choice for this tournament. I would even hazard to say that Bray Wyatt is a candidate for this tournament, even though he already has a Survivor Series match. I'm fairly certain they are setting up for a Survivor Series match for Bray Wyatt. So you also have Dolph Ziggler, who is currently feuding with Tyler Breeze. Tyler Breeze, I love Tyler Breeze to death, but this is not a step that needs to be taken with him just yet. You have Sheamus, who is the current Money in the Bank contract holder. You have Kevin Owens, who is the current Intercontinental Champion. You have Alberto Del Rio, who just made his return and is now the United States Champion, taking over for Cena during his absence. You have Ryback, who I don't want to see a world where Ryback is champion. He was. It's fine if you put the Intercontinental U.S. title belt on him. I don't think he's world champion material. That's just my own personal opinion. Those guys, and forgive me if I'm missing anyone at this present moment in time, those guys all seem like the most obvious candidates to go in. You could even throw Neville, who I would love if he was thrown into the tournament, because he has been doomed to lower mid-card with Stardust and the Ascension. We haven't seen very many appearances of Neville on television in a while, and I would love to believe that this could be his rebound. This... You could even really put Wade Barrett in there, but Wade Barrett's been on a downward spiral ever since they turned him into King Barrett. I knew that angle was going to be doomed right away. So there's your list of candidates, and if I'm forgetting anybody, forgive me. There's your list of candidates to be the WWE Champion as of Survivor Series. No matter what, we are walking out of this pay-per-view with a brand new champion. I don't know who it would be, but I'm going to plead the case for a few of these guys. So let's start with Roman. Roman right now is the most obvious choice to win this tournament because, well, obviously he was the number one contender going into Survivor Series. However, I don't think this was the plan with Roman. I think that this isn't where Roman is supposed to get... Roman and his fans are supposed to get the payoff that they want. Roman and his fans, I think, are doomed to wait a bit longer to get that sweet, sweet payoff that started at WrestleMania with Brock Lesnar. I think that they are trying to really help Roman's fans savor the moment when Roman finally becomes champion. Now, again, I don't want that to happen because I feel, again, Reigns is an incredibly boring person, and I don't think that he would make a great champion at all. So, let's move on to his partner, Dean Ambrose. Dean Ambrose is marketable. He has all the charisma and just entertaining nature that Stone Cold and Brian Pillman did. I have always, myself and others, have always said that Dean Ambrose is the perfect mix of Stone Cold Steve Austin and Brian Pillman. He is just that. Now, Dean recently has been on the back burner, and going into Survivor Series, he does not have a match. So, it just makes sense to throw Dean's name into the hat. That just makes absolute sense. And ultimately, if it came down to him and Roman, then you have the perfect opportunity for one of them to turn heel. Because at this point, with Rollins being gone, the company has lost its best heel. Who do I personally believe has the better chance of going heel? I would give that to Dean. I would absolutely give that to Dean. Because while he does play a great face and the fans love him, I think that he would be even more beloved as a heel, but not in the same vein as Seth Rollins and as they're currently packaging Kevin Owens, and we're going to get into Kevin here soon. So then we're going to go on to Dolph Ziggler. Dolph is currently being put into a feud with Tyler Breeze. To make Dolph champion would throw that entire feud off, and to me would derail what is going on with Tyler Breeze right now. I think that is a very thin line that the WWE is treading on, and I don't think that they want to ruin that storyline or the momentum that Tyler Breeze has had in looking very strong against Dolph. Tyler has had an excellent debut, and I think it relies on that feud with Dolph in order to keep going for at least another month, or at least into the next pay-per-view. We don't want another Rusev-Dolph situation on the hands. So I don't think Dolph has any chance of winning this tournament, just because he is needed in another place right now. So yeah, I would say right now, Dolph is easily low on the list on who is going to win. Next up, we have Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens currently is the Intercontinental Champion. He's been on a bit of a roll, but unfortunately, I think they are not billing him properly. I think Kevin Owens makes a better monster heel than he does cowardly heel. Just because they always have him as the fight or flight, prize fighter, I don't want to risk what I have, yada, 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 yada. Kevin Owens is currently having a pretty good run as Intercontinental Champion, and I don't know if the WWE wants to derail that right away. The only indication we could have that the WWE is strongly considering Owens as champion is that if he loses the Intercontinental Championship within the next 2 to 3 weeks leading up to the pay-per-view. That's the only way we'd know for certain. Next up, you have Alberto Del Rio. Pardon me if I'm saying his name weird. It's just the way it rolls off my tongue. So, Alberto just came back. Oh my god, I'm saying his name so weird. Alberto. We're just going to say Alberto. Alberto just came back. He is now the United States champion, and he's in a very weird angle with Zeb Coulter, which I don't even want to just talk about that just yet. But he is now the United States champion, taking over for Cena since Cena is taking some time off, which is very unusual for Cena. Alberto is currently, I think, in the right place. Alberto is definitely going to be the WWE champion again because he's an incredibly talented wrestler. He's an excellent champion. He shines the best when he has gold. That's me personally. He is an excellent champion. He really knows how to just command the ring. He's absolutely excellent, but I don't think it's that time. I think that Alberto is probably just as low on the list to win the tournament as Dolph is, just because he still just came back. So I can't see them rushing that belt onto Alberto right away, unless there is some hidden stipulation in Alberto's contract that would dictate otherwise. So, Dolph and Alberto, I would definitely rank very low on the chances of getting that championship. Next up is Ryback. Now, Ryback has been on the up and up recently. Definitely this has been his best year, capturing his first championship gold, which has been that's always good for him. He's surprisingly over with the crowd, despite the fact that I find him horrendous on the mic, but better than Roman Reigns, even though he said probably one of the most idiotic, nonsensical lines I've ever heard, and it was it was something he was saying. It was something he was, I believe, saying to Kevin Owens. He referred to himself as the master of the feed me more, and I was like, what does that mean, Ryback? What exactly does that mean? But Ryback, I would actually say, could stand a good chance of getting close. A semifinalist at best for the championship. I could see him being in the semifinals with Dean. Definitely in the semifinals with Dean. Ultimately losing to Dean, but getting there nonetheless. I think that I don't exactly know what the plan would be with Ryback at that point. So I can't really see them going that route with Ryback. I see him progressing in the tournament, but ultimately coming up short. Another name, speaking of coming up short, let's not forget the person that's most synonymous with coming up short, Cesaro. I absolutely forgot about Cesaro and including his name in this tournament. Oh, Cesaro. How I'd love to believe that they would make you WWE champion, but that is just not going to happen. Antonio Cesaro is such an incredibly talented wrestler, and the fact that they continuously just underuse him is a crime, is an absolute crime. But ultimately, I don't see Cesaro going anywhere in this tournament either. Again, the theme with Cesaro seems to be he's an incredibly talented guy that just can't get the job done. Now, that would be a great payoff for the Cesaro section for Cesaro to become the WWE champion, but it's just not the right place, and it's just not the right time. So, Cesaro, I love you, man. It's not you, it's them. So let's go on into Sheamus. Sheamus would be a really weird one in this tournament because Sheamus has the best chance of walking out as WWE champion depending on whoever wins. I predict that if Roman wins the tournament and becomes the WWE champion, Sheamus is going to cash in the Money in the Bank that night and walk out as WWE champion, thus setting up the feud that's going to pretty much dominate the rest of the winter. That's going to be Sheamus versus Roman for the World Heavyweight Champion once or twice. So, Sheamus, I don't see winning the tournament, but if Roman wins, he will walk out as WWE Champion. So, Sheamus, I'm keeping, he's the wild card for sure. Next up, oh my gosh, Bray Wyatt. Bray Wyatt actually stands a pretty amazing chance right now going into Survivor Series for the WWE Championship. I think that if he made his way into Survivor Series, depending on whatever angle they want to go with The Undertaker and Kane, Bray Wyatt consuming their souls and getting their power, I think that he stands a good chance of looking very strong. He has an incredible stable with him. And by having the combined powers of The Undertaker and Kane, and then having the WWE Champion, he could truly be, as he would proclaim, the most powerful person in the WWE. That sets up for a really neat and interesting storyline. However, it completely derails the possibility of Kane and Undertaker becoming the Brothers of Destruction, going after the Wyatt family. I don't know what they were going to do with the Wyatt family, because they have been making them look incredibly strong, especially now that Eric Rowan is back, joining Luke Harper and Braun Strowman with Bray Wyatt. Bray, I think, would stand a very good chance to go into this and walk out as WWE champion and look very, very strong doing so. I think that would be a much deserved end to this long run of just well-deserved reward for Bray Wyatt. I think this would be an excellent time, just considering how strong the Wyatt family looks right now. So next up we have, like I mentioned earlier, Neville. Neville, I really don't think that... It's not the right time for Neville either. He's still so early in his career, and I know this sounds strange because I just talked about how I could see Kevin Owens coming out pretty high in the tournament, but that's because Kevin Owens is consistently in the upper mid-card. Neville, on the other hand, is banned to lower card. I mean, he's right there feuding with the Ascension, and I just don't see this. I don't see Neville going anywhere in this tournament, and it pains me to say that because I think Neville is an absolutely amazing performer, an absolutely amazing wrestler, and he was a great NXT champion. But that's just not how it goes on the main roster, unfortunately. So, Neville, I'm sorry, man, but you're going to be down there with Cesaro, and you're going to be down there with Dolph. I do apologize, my dear friend. And then we come to the last man that I could see them putting in this tournament, and that is Wade Barrett, or King Barrett. Oh, Wade. Wade. How do we not know the tragedy of your career? You had everything gone according to plan with you years ago during the Nexus storyline, and had John Cena not completely fucked up your entire career, you would have been an incredible heel, and I would have absolutely pegged you to win this tournament. But given what they have done to you since, I do not see you going absolutely anywhere. I don't even think you're going to make it into this tournament. Much less becoming WWE champion. There's just no way. So there you have it, guys. That's everybody who I think could potentially be in the tournament. And as far as a possible winner, there are just too many scenarios. There are just too many scenarios to take into consideration to really truly say who is going to be the champion. The most obvious pick, obviously, is Roman. Roman Reigns will most likely win this tournament. However, I still stand by what I say when I say it is just not the time for him, nor do I truly ever believe it should be the time for him. Roman, if you guys need to know my opinions on Roman, just go watch my previous podcast. Just go watch that. I'm not going to get into this conversation again about Roman. But I want to really, at this moment in the podcast, to kind of really touch on how big this is. Seth, whether you love him or hate him, was an absolutely excellent champion. And here's the reason why. Seth brought out the absolute best in everyone that he competed with. I want you guys to go back. For all you Seth Rollins haters out there, I want you to go back. And I want you to watch, go on the WWE Network, for example. It's only $9.99. Bet you didn't know that, did you? That it's $9.99. Oh my God, what a value. But regardless, Seth brought out the best in everyone that he competed with. Don't believe me? Go back and watch the matches that he's been in over the past year. Go back the past 2 years, and you will find that Seth really brought out the best in everyone. He had a presence, unlike Brock Lesnar. No disrespect. All due respect to Brock. You know, Brock's great at what he does, and he's a powerful, intimidating champion. But Seth brought out the best in everyone. Seth carried the company on his back, in my opinion. Seth showed us what it is to have the next great heel. The next Seth Rollins. That's who Seth is going to be. I could tell you all day that he has shades of Edge, shades of Shawn Michaels, shades of whomever. You could compare him to any of those guys. But at the end of the day, Seth is himself. And you could tell every time he went out on a pay-per-view, he defended that belt and he did an amazing job every single time. Every single time he went to that ring, he did an amazing job. Seth was an incredible wrestler, an incredible performer, and a great champion. And I am going to miss him until he makes his recovery and he comes back. And ACL, there's a little bit more to it than what I'm saying. I believe it was ACL, MCL. It was a severe injury. And let me tell you guys, that puts any competitor of any sport on the shelf. When that gets damaged, you're done. You're done until you're healed. Fully. Because you can't risk. And even then, you're never truly the same after that. No matter how much surgery you go through, you're never truly 100%. But Seth is leaving incredibly big shoes to fill. And with guys like Cena and guys like Orton and guys like Daniel Bryan, with all of those guys out right now, it becomes an even more daunting task for the guys that are going to be taking on the role. Some of them, again, former champions themselves. You know, with Dolph and Sheamus both being former world champions, it makes that task, again, that much bigger. It makes it that much more daunting. They really have to consider this carefully. And they only have till the 22nd of November to do so. They have to pick the guy out of the upper mid-card to carry the company. This is a lot of pressure. And this is going to make or break an individual. It is going to make or break an individual, but this could also ultimately be a great time for people who have been waiting for the opportunity, who may not have thought they were ready, to finally get pushed off of the pier and say, you know what, ready or not. It's that time. There has been no better time than now for this to happen. So with that said, you know, this is going to be very interesting going into Survivor Series to find out who exactly is going to come out on top. Who will the champion be by the end of it all? And what is the plan going forward with so many injuries and with so many top guys on the shelf right now? The WWE is going to be a very interesting place for the next couple months. So we will see. We will absolutely see. But guys, with that said, this has been the emergency Turbo Talks Wrestling podcast, just going over the dramatic changes in everything that's going on this week with the WWE. Thank you all for listening again. We're on SoundCloud, we're on YouTube. Do me a favor, go ahead and hit that follow button. We're going to be updating with more Turbo Talks Wrestling every single week. You can, like I said, find these videos on SoundCloud. You can find them on YouTube. Give us a follow and give us a subscribe subsequently to both, because I love doing this. I love wrestling, and I absolutely love just sharing my thoughts and opinions with all of you. So until next time, guys, I really appreciate you listening. Enjoy the rest of your week. Hope it's a great one for you, and we'll see you next time. Turbo out.